Virtual reality, something that the media loves to say is dying and something Hollywood loves to misuse. But I think VR is something that can be used to help disabled, bedridden, and people who cannot leave their homes, such as people with compromised immune systems. Now, before I begin, I'd like to add that I'm fully aware these are video games that contain gratuitous violence and are filled with awesome action. Boneworks is a VR first-person shooter released in 2019 by Stress Level Zero. It introduces many new mechanics not seen in other VR games. These innovations include a fully physics-based environment. In essence, each object you touch has some sort of mass. For example, a can in the game can be touched and moved as if it were an object in real life. If we compare Boneworks with an older VR game such as Surgeon Simulator, Boneworks mechanics are superior, even though Surgeon Simulator runs on the same engine as Boneworks. Hands in Surgeon Simulator will go through objects, and picked up items float unnaturally. This game came out in 2016. However, early footage of Boneworks from 2017, only a year after Surgeon Simulator came out, shows how much more natural in-game mechanics are. So earlier I was talking about physics and how it can make environments immersive, and I want to expand on that because in reality, I'm going to use video games as an example, but in most video games it works. What we have now is fine, but in the future, we're going to have to expand on that to make it more realistic. So I'm going to give you an example. So before this new technology that uses mathematical calculations to simulate cloth, what they would do is they would to simulate, a blanket, for example, they would spawn in a mesh like this. This is called a mesh. And then they would, model it, they'd add the texture, they'd add tiny little details, and then, they would add the bones for the bendiness, to make it look like cloth. So, these bones, they would bend like this. While, yes, this works fine, it's not bad by any means, it could be better, it could be far more realistic. And that's where the mathematical calculation type one that I was talking about came out. And this one, I haven't actually seen this one too often, but I know for a fact that Unity and Unreal Engine 5 have it, but I don't see people talking about it too much. So, this is in Source 2. Source 2 is a very good engine, and it works. Look at it. It's very nice. It works fine. It's great, actually. And this uses mathematical calculations to simulate very realistic cloth. Like here, let's put it over this crate. Let's start the simulation. It looks great, right? But you can see that the program is lagging because it's using so much CPU power that my computer's having a hard time simulating it. So what I want in the future is to find a very cost-effective way and very, very, very simple and optimized version of this, because this is so extremely awesome in my opinion. And if we can do this in real time with low cost, with low latency and stuff, that's gonna open many doors. And yeah, and that's I wanted to talk about this quickly before I forgot. Anyway, yeah. Half-Life Alyx is the latest installment of the Half-Life franchise. After 13 years, a new release has finally come out. Now, I will not spend the entire presentation stroking Valve's ego, but this is a fantastic game. HLA isn't as heavy on physics as Boneworks, but it's more refined. It is more realistic, and its in-game objects are well defined. Even more so than Boneworks. HLA was made by a massive multi-billion-dollar company rather than a small indie group, and it uses a different physics engine, but the actual mechanics make HLA perhaps the most realistic VR game ever. The graphics, audio, and gameplay are an oasis of quality VR entertainment. Now, if we look at advancements made in computer brain interfacing, BCI, made by Elon Musk and Dr. Rajesh Rao, we could possibly make the most realistic virtual reality space ever. It could simulate touch, smell, and taste and give us an escape. While yes, I can see how dystopian it sounds, but the positives really outweigh the negatives. And if we keep this technology out of the hands of bad people, we could possibly give bedridden and paralyzed people a new chance at life.